Welcome back, everyone. It's been a minute. I haven't done a video for quite a while. I've had a lot of you ask me where I've been. To be honest, I think I got a little burnt out on the Padme event that I don't know, took me maybe 6 hours in total over the course of the whole event, running everything, trying to get it. I did finally get her to 7 stars, but I haven't really been in the game too much. Just kind of been doing the bare minimum because I've been a little burnt out, but I'm starting to get rejuvenated. I'm back. I know normally I'm making strategy videos for you guys, but I didn't necessarily have one right now. But I wanted to talk about ways that we can kind of rejuvenate this game because I'm not the only one who's kind of started to get a little burnt out with this, and the game's kind of starting to feel like a little bit of a chore. So I feel like we need some major changes to kind of get some of the veteran players like myself back into it, get us back excited. So that's kind of where I'm going with this video. It's almost more of a podcast than an actual video for the moment. But before I get into that, I do actually want to mention one thing. I've had a lot of people ask me in the past 6 months or so how they can donate to support my channel. I'm kind of blown away that there's so many people who are actually wanting to help support me, and I haven't had a way to do that in the past. I finally set up a Patreon account so that those of you who want to donate can do that. I don't expect any of you to financially support my channel, but for those of you who want to do that, that link is in the description. I've got my Twitter link that I'm going to put there. I've got like 20 measly followers on Twitter. Go follow me, people. Make me feel a little bit better about myself. And I'm also starting to launch my own Discord server. I've got it up, but I don't have a lot of the channels and that type of thing set up. I'll let you guys know when I get that done. If anybody has experience with that and wants to be a mod or help out or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'd love anybody's help. So now that that's taken care of, on to the actual meat of this. So I've got 8 changes that I think would greatly improve this game and make it a lot more exciting for everybody from new players to old players. So we're going to jump right in. These aren't in any sort of order. We're going to start out with ones that actually kind of relate to the Padme event here. And that is to eliminate the need for restarts altogether. So that's not just in the events, but in things like raids. Wouldn't it be nice when you were done with the raid, it told you how much damage you did and ask if you want to accept that or if you want to start over or if you want to exit? That would be amazing. No more airplane mode. Let's get rid of the need to do airplane mode so that when we don't have any of our guildmates who are accidentally dying and loading teams with turn meter. When you're done with a grand arena or a territory battle, not a territory battle, but a territory war, where you lose the battle, ask if you want to accept it or just lose your characters and retreat. I can only imagine how much time this would have saved me on the Padme event if instead of a retreat option, there was a restart option and I didn't have to go through the whole screen again. So anyways, I don't think that one's controversial. This one I think a lot of you would like as well, and that's more Zetas. One of the most frustrating things about the event is I got Padme, I'm so excited about this team, and I don't have any Zetas to spend on the team. I need like 5 Zetas. It's going to take 2 to 3 months to even get those, at which point I may even want to use them someplace else. So it's kind of demoralizing when you do all this work, you get this team, and then you can't even fully use it. So we need to have more sources of Zetas in the game, and I don't care if that's with crystals, if that's farming. I mean, you don't want to make it completely pay to play where it costs an arm and a leg to get these Zetas, but CG also does need to make their money. So I'm going to keep that in mind with some of these recommendations, is how CG can make money off of these in a player-friendly way. And I think Zetas could be incorporated into that a little bit. So, which also, this can kind of tie into my next one, which is non-character farms for Cantina. Longtime players need something else to spend their energy on. We are out of energy. We used to use it on mods, but now we can't do that because mods have their own energy. But maybe we could add some mods back to that. Maybe we could add slicing materials there. Zetas would work as long as you make the drop rate somewhat reasonable. It's got to be better than the Omega drop rate. G12 plus gear, that new gear for the Sith raid. The Sith raid's been out long enough. Let's add someplace else that we can get those gear. It's ridiculous that we're waiting on RNG to find certain pieces that I know there's one that I literally have never gotten a full piece of. I've had to buy it for every single character I've needed. I've had to buy it, which I realize that's probably why they're doing it that way, because I've had to essentially use my arena payout crystals to get that. But let's add Zetas at, if you added at a 7% drop rate on the highest Cantina nodes, that would be 1 extra full Zeta a month if you don't spend any energy buying refreshes, and you spent all of your Cantina energy farming Zetas. If you did your 100 refreshes, that would end up costing about 4,000 crystals for a full Zeta, and you'd still have to wait an extra 2 weeks. So that's nothing that's extreme, and that price is going to go up the faster you refresh to get those faster. That's nothing that's going to be game breaking, but it helps us have another opportunity to get these Zetas. It gives CG some more things that people want to spend crystals on, so that's extra revenue there. Seems like a win-win for everybody. So let's give us, even if it's not Zetas, let's have something that we can farm there, because once we get the newest character, those of us who have played the game for a while, once we get whatever character was just released there finished, then we go back to just farming for shard shop currency, which is extremely boring. It's not useless, but it's boring. So again, I think most people would agree with that one. We haven't gotten anything controversial yet. Here's my absolute favorite one. Account mod loadout. So we've got character loadouts for mods, but that is still so time consuming to move everything around. It's a chore is what it is. It's no fun for anybody. So what we need to do is have one that's attached to your entire account. So it's almost like a backup for your mods where, okay, when you're doing one of these events and you're moving your mods all around, before you start that, you can essentially save the mods for your entire profile, make all these changes that you want, move everything around. Then when you're done with the event, you can go back and revert it to how it was before then. So yeah, you've screwed up all your mods for the event, but a few taps and you're back to how you were before. Same with raids. So you could have one set saved for maybe arena or something else, territory battles, territory wars, but then you want your characters to be a certain way for the raids, and you've got like 8 different raid teams that you're using. Well, you could just go in with a few taps, set it to your raid layout, and then you can run the whole Sith raid, whatever raid that you're doing, any upcoming raids. And after the raid's over, a few taps, and you go back to how your entire account was before. So you don't have to spend all this time switching these layouts back and forth, trying to track where everything is. I could do a whole video on just mod improvements, but this would be the one that would really be a huge difference maker for me. I personally hate mods, and this wouldn't completely change it, but it would go a long way. So on to my first one that might be a little more controversial, and that's to increase Grand Arena slots at the higher GP level. So I don't necessarily know what goes on at the lower GP. This may or may not apply, but I'm at the point where I'm at like 4.7 million GP, I think. I can't remember exactly, somewhere around that range. But it's the point where I finished Grand Arena, and I'll still have sometimes 10, 15 7-star G12 characters that I'm not even using. And it kind of defeats the whole maybe not the whole purpose, but my excitement around Grand Arena when it first came out was using these squads that I never got to use anywhere else, and maybe I wasn't even finished gearing up, using like my G10 Ewoks or things like that. And we're kind of past that point where if you can make a list of top 15 teams that you want to use, so I guess you only need 14 teams. If you have a perfect run, there's seven on defense, and you'll need 7 on offense. You can do a lot. There are 14 pretty good teams out there, and maybe not necessarily meta teams, but we don't get very deep into the rosters to where you're fighting with teams that actually aren't that good. And I know some people don't want to do that, but I love that. I love breaking out these G10 teams that I wasn't even done building, and it made me excited about building up those teams. And right now I'm not excited to build up my roster at all because I feel like I don't really need it. I can make my roster a little bit better, but I'm not sure if it actually helps me because jumping up into facing higher opponents might not be worth the extra GP I'm adding, because when I add a team, I'm kicking another team out essentially. So yes, my roster is not maxed out, and I can make it better, but I don't feel like it's that worthwhile because I'm just losing other squads that I'm not using. So we're to the point where I think we need to add more. I would actually like to double it. At my GP level, I'd love to have 14 offense and 14 defense. And that's gonna get really down further into my roster to where I'm not using G12 characters. And for me, that would be a lot more fun. So continuing on with with the Grand Arena theme, I would like to see where you can see defensive stats, and that actually can apply to Territory Wars, can apply to the Arena, Squad Arena, Fleet Arena, any of that. I want to see what teams, what offenses win against my defense. And the main reason I want to see this, especially with these new Grand Arena Championships coming up, is because it's so easy to cheat in this game and you can have no idea. And there are a lot of times where I kind of wonder in Territory Wars or other places, I'm like, how did somebody do this? Did this person cheat? And I've never reported anybody for cheating. Well, okay, I've reported a few people in an arena where we've figured out for sure they were cheating. But in Grand Arena Territory Wars, a lot of times you're kind of wondering. I mean, have you ever seen somebody's name on Territory Wars come across where they win like 10 straight battles and you're kind of like, did they really just save? Did they save everything for offense and they used their top 10 teams and took out half a territory, or is that a cheater right there? I mean, you can't really see everything, and if you could see what teams they were using, I don't have to see full details, but I would like to see the number of points they got and the squad that they used. And yes, people could still cheat with that, but that would eliminate some of the major cheating where you've got Gear 7 teams that are taking out your Darth Revan. I mean, and the bottom line is there are a lot of people cheating and they don't get caught, and this would cut back on a lot of that if we could just see that data right there. And I do realize there are some people that want to keep the teams that they use secret and they don't want to expose their strategy in Territory Wars, and I do completely get that, but to me it's not worth the trade-off of making it very easy to cheat. Ooh, I'm starting to get a little winded. I shouldn't have ran 3 miles before I jumped on here. Okay, on to the last main one, and that's adding new ship content. And this one I think is kind of obvious, but I want to talk about how I would do it if I was CG. So I would love to see Sith Raid. I would love to see like some more PvE content, like a Galactic War type thing for ships. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see more ships in Grand Arena. But in order to do any of this, we're going to have to start adding capital ships and just more ships overall. If I was CG, what I would actually do is take like your arena store, your guild store, from your Galactic War, the currency you get there, add a new capital ship to each of those. I think, what are there, four of those main shops that don't have anything in them right now, and that would make money kind of indirectly for them. And not necessarily from people spending on the ships, but so many people get gear from the shard shop currency that they're using now. So all of that currency is going toward gear. And if you just flooded the stores with new capital ships and maybe some other types of ships to fill out these factions, they don't even have to be meta changing. Just to provide more depth, so we can have 2 or 3 defensive spots for ships in Grand Arena. People would farm those instantly, and then that would be a lot less gear that they have, and that's going to equal more spending on gear or other things, and that would be a win-win for everybody. More crystal spending helps CG, a lot more ship content helps everybody else. If it's not necessarily meta content, people don't feel like they have to get it right away, so you're not creating the situation where people feel like they have to spend or they're missing out or anything like that. So it'd be a way to generate income without kind of angering the fan base, which tends to be what they've done quite a bit. But anyways, on to my final one. And if you've been actually watching the backgrounds in the video and not just listening, you may have noticed that every background has been a character that is not in the game, which may have seemed kind of odd to you. And that's because one thing that I really want to see, that I'm going to start pushing for, is I want to see some of the characters from the literature make their way into this game. All of those characters have been characters from books or from comics, and I know a lot of other YouTubers have kind of had their thing, pushing for clones, pushing for Grievous reworks. I want to see characters from the comic books make their way into this game. I love the literature from the Star Wars, whether it's canon, whether it's Legends. There are some amazing books, there are some amazing comics out there, and they would make some great characters in the game. Those comics and those books are actually what got me hooked on Star Wars. The movies are good, don't get me wrong, but the lore in the books goes so much deeper, and I absolutely love it. and I would love to see some of these characters make their way into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So I don't know. I was thinking about I've actually this Let's Get Lit slogan that I've got here on the screen. I've actually got that printed on a T-shirt. I might have to actually set the webcam up and put myself on the videos. I know a lot of you have been asking for that, and to be honest, I'm just kind of too lazy to do it. But I might have some fun with some of these videos and push for some other characters or have some ideas out, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna have some fun with that. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe some of you can join me in pushing for some of these comic book characters to make their way, because there's a lot of untapped potential here, and I would love to see CG get into that. I'm honestly surprised Disney hasn't pushed for this, because if we saw some of these, like on here, I've got these assassin droids, 000 and BT. These droids are awesome, and if people saw them in the game, I would imagine there's a large chunk of people that would wonder who they are, see how awesome they are. It's essentially an evil C3PO and evil R2D2, which is just sweet. And go read the comics, as they'd want to know more about them. They're in Afra's comic, by the way, who's also on there, which has been a tremendous series. So if you haven't read some of those, I highly encourage going out and checking them out. And maybe we can make a push and get these characters in the game. That's going to be my goal for like the next year. I know CG has things planned out way in advance, so these aren't going to happen anytime soon. But I'm going to have some fun, make some videos, maybe create my own characters with some kits, and see what you guys think, and just have some fun with it on my end. So anyways, I'd love to hear your comments on maybe what you guys think would best improve the game, whether you agree or disagree with the 8 things that I've got here, and we'll see what everybody thinks. Again, remember, I've got links to my Twitter page, my Patreon page, Discord. Well, actually, I won't put a Discord link up, but if you'd like to help me out with that, finally get that up and get going. That way I can do a better job of helping you guys out. I know I get a lot of questions about the strategies or the raid videos I put out, so that'll make it easier for everybody to contact me. So anyways, thanks again. I'll try to get back to doing my normal strategy videos here in the near future, because I know that's what you guys really want from me. But this has been a lot of fun, and like I said, I'm gonna have fun with those Let's Get Lit things. So have a great night, everyone.